probably not. I mean, we saw how stingy they were through European qualifying. Josie Altidore most advanced there. He took the nick to the hand. A report card on Josie in the first half.
I thought he's been okay, Bob. I mean, it is. I think we have to reiterate, it's difficult for the USA side going forward because defensively they need to be strong. You know, the Italians are big favourites in their own home patch, so they have to be defensively strong. They don't want to throw the game away early on. So the level of bodies going forward is more difficult. But I thought Josie's held the ball up well. He's brought people into the game. USA do need to try and get more people up there, to try and help Josie Altidore, but hopefully that'll come as the game progresses.
And he's got to get stronger. He's got to get stronger when the ball gets up there, and you have to want it mentally to be the only player that's playing up there.
Do you see that he doesn't?
I don't. I don't.
You don't see it?
I just don't. You know, I don't see it now. The good part was at times they did nick the ball in some good positions, and they sent Josie through one, through on one, which he drew the foul, which was good. Another time Breck Shea got through. So the ability to make that transition, see the opportunity, and go quickly at this Italian defense will bring some joy.
Learning experience, and we'll see what step, if any, up the United States make. It is an international day around the globe. Greece and Belgium are 1-1 at the half. Portugal and Poland are scoreless. What's going on with England? We're not talking about this match necessarily, but who's going to manage them in the Euros? Argentina leading Switzerland, and France, they've taken the lead on Germany, and Venezuela and Spain, they are scoreless at the first half. And a major day in United States soccer as the class of 2012 for the Hall of Fame announced. Three gentlemen you had the pleasure of playing with: Tony Meola, Claudio Reyna, Desmond Armstrong elected, Alexi, and they richly deserve that.
All class on and off the field, well deserving, all of them.
And you can say the same about Tony DeCicco, of course, who won the World Cup for the women in 1999, our colleague last year of the 2011. Congratulations to them all. David Beckham and the Galaxy, are they the class of the field? Are they odds on in MLS? We'll talk about it as we come back, and then back to Genoa.
He is suffering from flu-like...
Conventional wisdom has LA Galaxy odds-on favorite. I know you to be an unconventional guy, but tell me, are the Galaxy your pick, and if so, why?
Well, when we left after the 2011 MLS Cup, there was a lot of question marks with the LA Galaxy. Was Beckham coming back? Was Juninho going to come back? Not only do they get those two players back, they add Edson Buttle. And I'd love to hear what Alexi's opinion is about this, because when was the last time we've seen a defending champion get better? They do have a question mark with Omar Gonzalez being out with the ACL, but if they can find anyone to fill that position, I just don't see anyone giving LA a run for their money.
Yeah, Gonzalez might be back late in the season, but they got a hole to fill in the meantime.
Yeah, and I think there's plenty of teams MLS-wise out there that would disagree in terms of being able to give LA a run. I think that there are teams that will give LA a run. It's very difficult in MLS to repeat. But Taylor mentioned it, Omar Gonzalez. Defensively, the Galaxy right now, the ability to handle the crosses that he did consistently throughout the year, that also enabled up the field the players to play, like David Beckham and Landon Donovan, to play like that. That is really going to be a loss. So Bruce Arena's got his hands full with trying to figure out how to deal with that. But there are plenty of teams right now that have looked at this offseason as a way to get better. All over the league, obviously we have Montreal coming in. I think Portland's gotten better. I love what Sporting Kansas City has done, because they last year were just a little naive and a little too young. A year older. If there's a team that I would pick as a possible MLS Cup, they are them, Sporting KC.
Beckham, of course, had talked to Paris Saint-Germain. How did it play in the over in the UK when it was decided he was going to go back to Los Angeles?
I don't think anybody was that particularly bothered, to be honest, Bob. Either way, it was a good choice, if you know what I mean. If he would have went to Paris Saint-Germain, he was going to a wonderful club, top of the league, wonderful city, you know, but he's decided to stay at home where he's happy and his kids are in school and his wife's happy. So it was a win-win situation for Beckham. It's great for the MLS that he's still here.
It's not win-win at the half of the Italian match with the USA. We are scoreless. United States looking for a first-ever victory. Get a result at free kick late in the first half. A great opportunity by Dempsey. No goals yet.
Goalless at the moment. What developments, I wonder, in the second half? But in that first half, the big problem for the US defenders, Taylor, was looking after little Giovinco, who's everywhere, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was always peeling off the shoulder of either Bocanegra or Goodson, looking for those little seams behind. And the right back, Maggio, was getting forward. But the common theme here is who's playing these balls? And it's Pirlo. if the U.S. can put early pressure, like Macca said at halftime, on Pirlo, make him play short passes, that limits these dangerous runs from Giovinco over that back shoulder from Carlos Bocanegra.
Yep, thanks, Taylor. Ian Dark with Taylor Twellman in Genoa. Jurgen Klinsmann relentlessly upbeat as coach. He wants his players to move to another level, as he put it, and embrace change. There's Fabian Johnson, who can play left back or further forward down the left-hand side. He's got plenty of pace about him. Big job tonight with Maggio overlapping into his area all the time. But he's playing in the Bundesliga every week, and that helps.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable, particularly in possession. But Brekshay's got to do a better job of being in a better position and allowing Fabian Johnson to mark up.
Montolivo, Riccardo Montolivo of Fiorentina has come on, and so too for his 50th cap as Giorgio Chiellini to play in central defence. Nocerino has come off, and so too Criscito at half-time. Remember, 6 substitutions each allowed, as far as I can see. None so far for the US. On the bench, Jonathan Spector, Michael Parkhurst, Jeff Cameron of Houston Dynamo, Sasha Kleshchin, Edson Buttle, and the 19-year-old Terence Boyd. Not much impact so far for Alessandro Matri, who was hitting the headlines at the weekend with his goal for Juventus, and had another good one disallowed by the look of things.
Yeah, but he's just etching on that last line of defense. The U.S. has to do a better job of putting pressure on Pirlo so he can't just knock those balls over the top.
Of course, the Italians without Antonio Cassano, their top scorer in qualifying, who's had an operation for a minor heart defect. Good luck to him. He's been visiting the squad this week. And also Giuseppe Rossi, the American-born striker. Might be touch and go whether he makes it in time after his knee ligament injuries. Back in light training. Good luck to him.
Yeah, great conversation we had a week ago with him, and you just root hard for him. It's a tough injury, and it was very interesting to hear him say he didn't set any goals, just one day at a time.
The story of those 2 away games we were mentioning, away to France and Belgium, who were quite a talented side themselves, was that the US did well up to a point, and then about halfway through the second half, they conceded.
Yeah, you got to think that Coach Jurgen and his staff talked about this spot right here. Montolivo, Pirlo, finding that deep spot. They got to put pressure on that early.
Cut out by Johnson, who's sticking to his task pretty well there at left back. The US at the moment without Guch Onyewu, the central defender. He's out injured, quite a few in fact. Jose Torres, Donovan himself, Jermaine Jones, Kyle Beckerman's not here, Timmy Chandler. Beckerman's been pretty much automatic pick in the holding midfield role so far, the Real Salt Lake player. Barzali towards Matri. Barzali's trying to get the ball in against Cherundolo, watchful with the header away. The US have only scored 7 goals in 9 games under Jurgen Klinsmann, but they've only let in 7 as well.
Keep in mind, though, 3 of those were in 1 game.
Yeah. Goal scoring's been a problem, though they're working on that. Johnson. Altidor's pulled out wide. A bit of a disappointment, really, that. Now then, Thiago Motta. He's come close a couple of times for Italy. Quite a group the Italians have. It starts with a game against the European and world champions Spain in Gdansk. one of the games of the tournament early on the 10th of June. It's all live, by the way, with us on ESPN. Make sure you're around for that in the summer. Pirlo, Giovinco flags up again. Good discipline to keep catching him offside like this. Woo.
Yeah, and a good spot from Carlos Bocanegra to come forward, but Fabian Johnson's a little late on that.
That was close. That looked about level.
You know the type of runs that Sebastian Giovinco is going to make, but it's got to be quicker pressure on that ball.
Here is Pirlo. Maka was saying at half-time they just need to put him under a little bit more pressure on the ball. Oh, look at Giovinco. He's got offside again. Flags up again. It's getting frustrating, this, for the Italian crowd, because every time he springs from midfield, that flag's going up.
Yeah, but there's got to be a better understanding from the Americans. This came all the way from deep in the Italian zone. If Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore are going to put pressure up high, the midfield and back four got to go with them. Way too easy for the Italians to get a chance.
The Parma man, frustrated again. He's yet to score for his country. Can only be a matter of time, I'd say. And what we've seen tonight, somebody is going to cop it. Here he is again. Dempsey. Breck Shea celebrated his 22nd birthday yesterday. Big cheer from all the other players at the end of training. Now the break's on here, but they've not got it right. It's given away by Montolivo. Cherundolo. Now Danny Williams, one of the growing band of German Americans in the team. Come a long way from Freiburg a few years ago in the reserve team. Mota. Oh, he's picked a very good ball. The flag's up again against Battery. That's the 8th offside of the night, Taylor, for Italy.
At some point, you got to be careful. That's a fine line. Montri's got to do a little bit better job of holding that run, but the U.S. have to be careful here, because at some point, Giovinco is going to figure out that line, and he's going to be in.
Altidore with a bandage now on that left wrist that he damaged in the first half. I think Pirlo trod on him, not deliberately, of course.
It's been a slow start to the second half for the U.S. Very little possession when they win the ball, getting forward.
Yeah, they won't want it to become just a survival job.
No, they had a couple spells in that first half where they had possession, getting it behind on the flanks. Nothing so far in the second half.
Ogbonna has been moved out to left back now that Chiellini has come on. Away by Clarence Goodson after Marchisio had played the ball in. Here's Marchisio again. He's capable of great things. I've seen tape of him scoring some wonderful goals for Juventus. But he's been pretty quiet here tonight.
Yeah, but this is a throw-in in your own end. In the U.S., it's too easy. Marchisio can come, receive the ball, and turn. He's only 18 yards from the goal. There's got to be better pressure on that initial ball.
Christian Maggio. Out to Giovinco. Pirlo says, give it to me again. I'll pull all the strings. He's been doing it for years in that Italian midfield. The fact that he was injured for all but the last few minutes of the World Cup, or Italy's World Cup anyway, was vital. Without him, they looked lost.